Kelly pays the exact same rate. They mirror the rate that we're paying. And then we pay $1.40 for that. I mean, it's a 40% markup, so it's substantial, but again, as we go down the road, the costs come together. They do have like a 95% fill rate, so if you need the subs, I mean, 9.5 times out of 10, you're gonna get a sub. They provide those people with benefits and some other things that make it more lucrative for them to go to Kelly. Kelly also would transition the people we currently have in our pool, put them in their pool, and then they actively go out and recruit people. Now, if we don't go to Kelly, then what that means is we're trying to keep as many people under 28 hours as we possibly can, or under 30 hours as we possibly can, because once you get to that 30 hours, then that increases the number of people that we have to make eligible for medical benefits. We don't necessarily have to pay for the medical benefits, but if the benefits cost them more than 9.5% of their annual wage, then they are eligible to go to the exchanges, the state exchanges. If they go there, they get insurance, and they get a subsidy through the federal program, then we're on the hook for a penalty of $3,000 per person. May never happen. The other penalty, which they call the sledgehammer, so to speak, is if we don't offer coverage to 95% of our full-time equivalent people, then it's $2,000 times full-time equivalency times, I believe, 80 in the first year people, and then 30 in the second year. So I don't think that penalty would ever come to be, because we would make sure that we offer medical insurance to those that hit the 30 hours. But it would make it harder not to provide 95% of your people with medical insurance. So
You're recommending we go with Kelly?
I'm recommending to reduce the burden of the reporting process to the IRS. I would recommend that we give it a shot here. The other thing I would say, though, is because everybody's jumping on the bandwagon at the same time, they probably will not be able to get us on board till October 1st. We also are meeting with Kelly on Wednesday as a group of Lawrence County business managers to try to get them to reduce the price. It's $1.40 for day-to-day subs. It's a $1.35 for subs that are here every day. So if we continue to have daily subs that came 180 days, that cost would be a slight reduction from the 1.4.
Question, why do we need building subs then?
I think that's what Mr. Zron's saying. The floaters, 477 days, cut down on the ones that come every day.
I think you're gonna have subs that you're gonna need every day, so you could guarantee that they're here, but there will be days that,
We don't need 4 or 5 of them.
well, I mean, I guess principals may have, and Kirk, you can speak up, they would
There
have.
isn't many days we're not using them.
So what would happen then, instead of having the same 4 show up every day, they would fill them, Kelly would fill them, but you wouldn't have the same 4 every day. What we got into was having the 4 every day, and again, they were used a lot of the time, but then I guess more at the elementary, they seem to be used to assist. And again, I don't want to speak as a principal, I wish they were here, but I know that there were days that they do run the halls, and they do assist with giving tests, and they do assist with doing other things, so.
Yeah, but if we're trying to reduce some of our payroll costs, now, building subs, do they get health care at all?
Not currently, no. No, not in the Ellwood City School District, they do not get health care.
So
If
this
they
would
get 30
guarantee
hours
us
on
something.
average, then they become eligible for it. And again, that's when you open yourselves up to penalties for not offering something that's affordable. And we would
So
not offer affordable.
Kelly would make sure they didn't do it
Kelly
at
handles all that,
employees.
they become their employees, so they're
Oh.
100% affordable, compliant. I mean, that's all on them, and it takes the burden from the school district.
Okay.
So I guess, I don't know where my 2 questions, where it goes. Are you, as principals, are you guys still going to try to have a building sub there every day?
Not through us, it'd be through Kelly.
Right, I understand that, but are you guys gonna request them whether there's a needed fill-in, that you're just gonna have
The
one?
way
there
I
or
see it right
anything?
now, if the teacher calls off, they call the service supplies it.
Okay,
If we would want one, our secretary could pseudo act as an individual calling off and request 1 or 2. If we knew we were heavy on IEPs or there was testing and we needed to cover classes, then I could have my secretary call and request 1 or 2 or 3 come out that day.
okay, so it's not gonna be like it is now where they're just there every day.
But I'm
one
gonna
way
tell
or
you
the
right
other.
now, if continued patterns of call-offs and needing pulled for this or needing pulled for that, I would think you would have 2 or 3 every day at the high school, on an average.
And you're saying that if we use exactly the same amount of people as we did days last year, will still be the same?
I'm saying that we did a study, we went through all the payroll sheets for the entire year, and where they marked floater, we pulled that out. Now, again, that may not be fair, I don't know. When I see floater, to me, that means that you don't have a specific classroom you're assigned to. You're floating around, and you're helping where help is needed. You're filling in for an IEP, or you're filling in for a coach that went to a baseball game. So that's the number, that's what that 477 represents, where we saw on the payroll sheet floater. Now, I don't know the human cry that that's gonna
Well,
cause.
just remember this, if you don't have a floater and somebody gets sick, goes home half day, or like Mr. Zerone said, somebody has to leave for a game and they miss the last 2 periods. If we don't have a floater that can pick up those 2 periods and you're only paying them $70 or $80 a day, now you're paying a teacher to cover. At the high school, that's per diem. You're paying them per 45 minutes what their per diem rate is, and that could push you over $70 or $80 just in 2 teachers. So, you know, that's something you have to consider as well. That happens a lot.
Why would we be doing that if the teachers are already getting paid to be here?
That's in the
Use our
contract.
planning period.
Use their planning period.
That's in the contract.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't understand what you were saying.
Yeah.
Does that happen often?
I don't have a number to say often, but it happens. I mean, somebody gets, maybe a
Kid gets sick.
kid gets
teacher
sick,
gotta go
teacher
home.
has to go home. Just like I said, the Kelly service, from what I've understood, is not gonna call somebody out a half day. So let's just say we have a coach that is getting dismissed, golf coach. Maybe the event is a half day and they're leaving after 3rd period. Kelly's not gonna call somebody for just a half day. We're either gonna get that person a full day, or we're gonna use some of our teachers to cover. If we're using our teachers to cover, you're going over that $80 a day real quick.
My other question is, what happens for maternity leave? Can you request a teacher that's there then for the whole time?
Yeah, I think that you have the flexibility, I mean, and again, I'll clarify that, but they indicated we could do that. I mean, we could
Because you
find a
wouldn't want
specific
different
teacher.
people coming in for
No.
something like that.
No, and then we also have the long-term sub.
So,
clause in our
we have an
contract.
agreement with the EAA where we pay them, so much a day without any health benefits.
I don't expect that we're gonna be completely without 30-hour
Oh.
a week. I mean, that's just not gonna happen. There's still gonna be tracking from our perspective we're gonna have to do. But it won't be near as bad, if there's a service involved.
Okay.
Okay, before we go into executive, I got 2 things that I wanted to read to you. One was from Mary May. She was one of the chairmen for the Memorial Day Parade, and she just sent a note here thanking the board and the band for participating in the Memorial Day program. The other one was from the Ellwood City Volunteer Fire Department. They're requesting use of Ewing Park Field for parking for the festival. So I think, I don't know if that's gonna be put on the agenda or if it's already on, Mr. Drone.
If I just had that
I'll
letter,
give you
make
this.
sure we get it on.
Thank you. The other, we'll go to Mr. Cunningham, our visitor. Any questions for us tonight?
I have a couple comments and questions, but I wanted to commend the Ellwood board for being one of the 2 of the districts that voted against the VOTEC budget as it was. Obviously, you got overrode, but it was a nice effort anyhow. And maybe this touches on the VOTEC part that you were talking about earlier, about educating them here and letting them just go to VOTEC to cut that, what is it, 11,000 we pay per student. And the discussion about, what you did at one time and what can happen. I mean, you take recommendations from administrators and stuff. I mean, I sat here as, maybe, I know some of you did, when we went to block scheduling, and that was like gonna be the best of the best, and, well, we know where that is. But it was kinda like live and learn and see where we were at there. A few years ago, when they built Hartman, just refreshing a few people's memory, there was the option to go ahead and put the foundation in for the school that would allow a third story to be put on there. That was voted down, so it may or may not have helped with the Perry
That would
Perry-
have solved the whole problem.
the Perry
There's your
situation.
school right there.
And, just curious, if I haven't been past the park, did the borough get the sewage line through the field without any problem, or haven't they started
I don't
on it
think
yet?
they started
Everyone
yet.
Haven't even started yet.
No.
And, other than that, that's about all I have to say, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. No other questions or comments, we'll, adjourn to our, personnel and education.
I have a question real quick,
Go
Commissioner
ahead.
Garrett. Did you get a look at that, policy regarding the video camera? Did you take a look at that?
Did, yeah.
And, what did you
Well-
find?
It's permitted, first off, under the open meeting law. It's really just a matter of, you're allowed to, it's like public comments, you're allowed to make reasonable regulations. So it's a matter of what type of regulations you wanna put on it. You know, most of what I've seen focused on location, obviously not joint executive session. You know, talk about lighting, they can't come in and set up a bunch of lighting, not interfering with the meeting. So it's a matter of having a policy that just regulates.
So that policy wasn't in compliance?
Well, it was, you know, it's a matter of whether you want everything that's in there, or you want parts of what's in there. I think there was one section in there that said, we own the video. I don't think we can say we own the video. We can ask for a copy of the video
Right, okay.
before it's published or replayed, you know, with our consent, but I don't think we can say we own, you know, you can video, but you have to give us the
Right.
video afterwards. So that's the only part that I would change. It's really up to the board whether you want all or some of those regulations.
Okay, thank you.
John, does it have to be approved by the board or not?
Yeah, you would do, amendment to, I think policy 903 is where I would put an amendment. It sets out whatever regulations you want on it. I sent Mr. Lloyd, like one from Cannon McMillan had one, they're just more general. Some schools go more in depth. It really depends on what you wanna, how you wanna regulate it. But you can't not permit it.
Okay, thanks. Anything else? Okay, we'll adjourn to,
The air conditioner broke.
It's
Yeah.
nice in here.
Oh my gosh.
No, I don't think
You
it's
could
bad.
have
Speaking of which, I got a call from a parent earlier this week. Are we air conditioning the third floor?